Hello, Seasonal Vantage Insiders. This is Alex from MarketWise Asia. So in this video, just going to share with you Larry Williams' annual forecast report for this year 2024. Okay, so if you head over to his site at I Ready Trade, okay, under this navigation, under report, you'll see this annual forecast reports over there. Okay, so Larry typically, okay, produce the report every single year. So you can head over to the site and you'll see this landing page over there. So you can take a look and take a read over there. And typically, as I mentioned, right, he has produced the report every single year. And Larry is someone that I respect a lot because he has been in the market for don't know how many donkey years. Okay, in Chinese, 他吃盐比我吃米多. He has ate more salt than I've taken rice before. And he's very into all this, cycles, forecasts, and all this, okay? And yeah, in a way, you can say this is prediction, but, I don't really, per se, kind of follow exactly into his forecast or prediction. But like what I say, okay, I treat it as a roadmap, okay, to prepare myself or anticipate what could happen in this coming year. So if you take a look at his site, right, okay, the report actually costs you 249. Okay, so 249. So I'm going to share with you the key things, okay, in this video. Okay, so this make your Seasonal Vantage Insiders membership very worth it, right? Of course, I can't be sharing with you the whole PDF report, okay, because this is his report, this is his IP, intellectual property. If I share with you the whole report to you, he will come and sue me, okay? So, but nevertheless, okay, I'll just share with you the few key things which I think is good enough over there, okay? So, yeah, this is how the report actually look like, a PDF report. So there's quite a lot of things, but not all things to me are important. So it's not that important that you need to know everything. But in case you want to purchase the report, okay, feel free to do so at ireadytrade.com. But just a disclaimer first, I'm in no affiliation with Larry Williams. So I receive no compensation from him as well. So this is just something that I did and purchased the report from him. So yeah, it's entirely up to you. So anyway, that's the report that I mentioned, right? So just a very quick recap on what I mentioned. I think just before the end of the year and the start of this year, I mentioned on the seasonal trend of the S&P, okay, during election years for the past 10 cycles, which is 40 years. So this is the roadmap that I share with you guys. So as I mentioned, right, January tend to be, downtrending or a bit choppy, at least for the first quarter, January to March, and we tend to see a bottom coming up at March, mid-March, okay? So this is the report that from Larry Williams. Also, this is the average stock performance during the presidential election year. So you can see that the chart is very similar to what I have. This is the average stock performance. Maybe the years is a little bit different, but nevertheless, the roadmap, it is about the same. You can see that from January to March, okay, it is pretty choppy, and towards the mid-March, the market tends to find a bottom if the market really does come down until the March this year. Okay, so this is something like that. Okay, but you can see that overall during the election year, the market tends to go up, and the second half of the year, okay, the market tends to rally higher. So it is perfectly normal, okay, if the market it is choppy for the first half of the year. So this is the average stock performance during the presidential election years over there. But he also have this, re-election years. So which means that, the previous, okay, 4 years ago, Biden was the president already, right? So now he's trying to get elected again, okay, twice, okay, in 2024 this year. Okay, so yeah, so you can see that from his report, you can see that both charts shows higher prices at year end. However, in this re-election years, right, the Feb and the March sell-off has been harder on the stocks for the re-election year. But again, okay, typically the market tends to rally at the second half of the year. This is for the re-election year over here. Okay, and then he also has what he called the natural cycle forecast. Okay, how does he define this natural cycle forecast? Like he said, okay, this is not the annual cycle, but it is, okay, the average of the next year for all years that most closely followed the year that just ended. Okay, to be honest, okay, I also don't really understand what he meant by that. But I think it's not important. But the key thing is that he has this natural cycle forecast, but you can see that, okay, this natural cycle forecast also anticipated that, the forecast is showing that the market tends to be higher at the end of the year. So generally, he thinks that 2024 is going to be a bullish year also. All right. And then this is the long-term cycle that he highlighted. I think since last year, right, and also this year for 2023 and 2024, I think he mentioned, I think a few times that he think that the market should be fine. The market continue to be a bull market at least until, okay, about 2025 and 2026, which this is the long-term cycle. And he has think that we have bottomed out in 2022, which is exactly like the stock market last year, where it bottomed out from the bear market and start to rally higher over there. Okay, so he thinks that, okay, I repeat, the market is going to be a bull market at least until about 2025 or 2026. So he thinks that about 2025, mid 2025, this is where you need to start to worry if the market might come down and go into a longer term downtrend or a bear market. So this is the long-term cycle for 2023 to 2026 over there. And this, of course, I know quite a number of you are very, very into these China stocks and also into Hang Seng, the Hong Kong stocks as well. So this is the China cycle forecast. The red line, okay, it is more of the longer term, okay. The blue line is more of the shorter term cycle over there. So these are the key date over there, okay. Like this is the 15th of March, May 13, June 18. But you can see here that the roadmap so far isn't following the cycle, okay. You can see that 2024, if you go and see the chart, right, for the this is the Shanghai Composite Index, right? Since the start of the year, the market has been coming down. Okay, all right. Some people say that it might be bottoming out or we are at a low already. Okay, but we can see here from the start of this cycle. Okay, it says that it tends to go higher, but it didn't. It didn't. Okay, and based on this cycle chart, the Chinese stock market is going to in a downtrend. Okay, until maybe in the mid of April or May or so. But so far it's not that accurate. But anyway, as I mentioned, right, the forecast, the cycle roadmap, all this is not 100% prediction. It's not going to be true, but just serve as a roadmap for you to prepare for your trading or your investment. So this is for the China. Okay, the Hong Kong, it is the same. Okay, he thinks that the cycle based on the cycle forecast, right, the peak is on the January 30th, okay, and then there's another trough at the May on the 9th, okay. But you can see from the start of 2024, the forecast is that it's going to go higher, but it didn't, okay, and it has been coming down all the way since the start of the year. So not so accurate for the Hong Kong cycle. Okay, maybe the data is not to have such extensive data, maybe so, but nevertheless, this is what he mentioned. So you can, for the rest of the months, you may want to screenshot this and have a kind of a roadmap for you to get along. But I repeat, okay, it is not 100% accurate one. Just treat it as a guideline, okay, for you to trade or to invest, okay, for the rest of the year. All right, don't think of this as a holy grail. Okay, and then last but not least, a very short one is on the Bitcoin. Of course, now the Bitcoin ETF has been approved already, and coming up, okay, the next big event coming up is actually the Bitcoin halving, which is expected to happen in the April this year, April 2024. So typically, okay, based on historical data, right, after the halving, Bitcoin halving, okay, the Bitcoin tends to go higher, but I don't know how this will pan out, okay. But anyway, since the Bitcoin ETF approval, the market still kind of choppy, didn't really go a lot higher as I'm doing this video on the 12th of January. Okay, yesterday night, Bitcoin actually came down. Okay, anyway, yeah. So you can see that based on this cycle forecast from Larry, right? As mentioned, the red line is the longer term one, the blue line is the shorter term one. So you can see that based on that, okay, the 15th of January, okay, tends to be a peak for the Bitcoin, which is we are around the corner already, and then he foresee that it will come down until the 10th of February. That's going to be a turning point, okay, before price going to hit higher again. But the longer term wise, you can see that Bitcoin, the cycle tends to go lower until maybe the end of June or so. So how it pan out, I don't know, okay. But personally, I'm not so bullish on Bitcoin now. Okay, the reason is because before the Bitcoin approval, a lot of people should be buying Bitcoin, but Bitcoin didn't really rose a lot. Okay, and right now price starting seems to be coming down, so it kind of like sell the news kind of reaction right now. But anyway, this is what the cycle forecast for the Larry Williams report over there. So Bitcoin tends to coming down until maybe until May, that kind. So we shall see how it pan out. But I think the key thing for the report, it is the US market. So as just a repeat, okay, for the US market, this is the average stock performance. Typically, as I mentioned, okay, the first quarter of the year tends to be choppy. Okay, for the re-election year, also choppy, and it tends to hit harder, okay, in March for the re-election year. And this is pretty much in line with what I shared with you guys at the start of the year. This is the 40 years, 10-year cycle. Market tends to be choppy for the first half of, not first half of the first quarter of the year. Okay, so I think that's all on my sharing of Larry Williams. So today is a Friday evening, a Friday weekend. So I hope you guys had a very good weekend ahead. Thank you. Bye-bye.